If you have a question in mind today, I'm hoping that this reading can provide you an answer. Now, my intention behind preparing to film this reading today was for the answers to feel more like big picture, cosmically guided answers coming toward you. And an example I'm thinking of is if you were to be asking about a person, perhaps your answer would be, rather than identifying a specific outcome in the current, I think it's going to address big picture overall, especially with the types of cards that present in this Angel Answers deck I will be using. It just will feel like more of like a, when all is said and done, outcome type answer. So yes, the decks I chose were specific to kind of give me that type of feeling. So I'm hoping that my explanation makes sense just now, and I'm going to use two different decks I was between for the card that you will choose your pile from. So you will have two options plus a crystal. Pretty bad. I guess I can shuffle in front of the camera like this. And there's our three cards. I was debating doing 4 readings today. I think I am going to do that, and I've been looking at this one. So I'm going to put that over here. And then let's shuffle out for the collective. I was saying sometimes it's difficult for me to shuffle in front of the camera because I have an interesting setup kind of pushing me way back from where the desk is that I'm working on. But okay. So let's lay out 4 piles for you guys. Pile number 1. Reconsider with Mirrored Souls. Pile number 2, Meditation Brings Answers. Free Spirit. Pile 3, You're Ready. And Surrender. Pile 4, Improving Health. Wow, and Strength. I say wow just because I covers across the board, a couple things I'm picking up on already. So take your time so far with the cards, a lot to take in here. Let me get them in your field of view all nice. And then let me quickly pull out some crystals. Thanks for sticking with me through this longer reading or longer intro. We have the koala for pile 1. We have the black cat for pile 2. We have the turtle for pile 3. And the serpent for pile 4. Okay, so I will meet you at your reading if you follow the timestamps to take you there. Hey there, pile number 1. So let's get right into your reading. This could be your answer to a big picture question. Your first cards, we have Reconsider and we have the Mirrored Souls. This archetype card I am going to pull at the very end, so I'm going to tuck that to the side. Let's pull out from one other oracle deck and we will jump into tarot. I'm getting ideas already, but let's see what comes through with these cards. We have Birthing a New Age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Beautiful. We have the Starseed card with what lights you up. So the first ideas are quite simply what is coming through with the first 2 oracle cards you chose that brought you to the pile. There's something about reconsidering, something about, of course, if you're with someone at this time who is like mirroring you at this time, a mirrored soul feels appropriate, right? It feels like what you gravitate toward. And It's so harmonious, especially in the way it's depicted in this card. And this card alone feels like a beautiful connection and outcome. With the reconsider card, however, next to it, for some of you, I see an aspect of mirroring your person too severely, to a T. Like, to a point where there is stagnation, perhaps, or lack of inspiration for growth on either part's end, lack of being pushed. I wanted to say being pushed to reconsider. Like, I wonder if there is a, like, energy in your life and a person kind of on standby, kind of neutral about the things you are going after. With the starseed, what lights you up? It's giving me an idea of you being held back in some way, maybe not from a malicious intent on the part of a person that you're with, but I'm thinking of, if you watched the show, I'm sorry, I have to mention, if you watched the show Emily in Paris, her boyfriend breaks up with her because it's too much to see her, like, across the world, across the globe, in Paris, living her life. And it's that same idea of, like, someone putting doubt in your mind, someone, if putting any input into exciting opportunities you have, perhaps they'd be leaning toward encouraging you to reconsider, or consider they're kind of like the devil's advocate almost, which isn't a bad thing in itself. But I think there is something here, just because I'm seeing the starseed, which gives me an idea that you are meant to do great things with what lights you up, birthing new creations and dreaming your world into being. It just feels like you are, in one way, tethered tightly at this time. And there could be some energy of accomplishing more, accomplishing bigger things with release or with reconsider. I'm not saying that this is an outcome of ending a relationship. I'm just picking up reconsider whether the mirroring that you experience, the likeness you have with your person, similarities you share in temperament and personality. Reconsider if that is serving the two of you for growth. Reconsider as well if you are truly mirroring this person. Reconsider if that truly is how you react to things, how you feel. Is there a greater fire within you that you're holding back from when you're with someone because you're matching their energy in some way, or the expectation around them to behave in a certain way is affecting you as well? So, reconsidering if this message in itself is not one saying that this outcome to this relationship is not meant to be. It is just saying that for some of you, there could be some thinking to do about altering things between the two of you. Recognizing if there is indeed an energy present of someone not being straight up unsupportive, but you're lacking earthly encouragement and support that you could have. And it's also causing you to not fully be existing and shining with your go-getter, I want to say, like, bold energy. Yeah, I think those messages came through well, but again, I've stressed that there is no really outcome being predicted here. I elaborated on mirrored souls in itself. If you resonate with really truly being in harmonious mirroring energy with your person, then take that as you feel it, because that is beautiful and we're seeing it in this card. But there's always room to grow. So even at that, you could consider ways in which stepping out of that strong tether at times can actually help the both of you. New things, new creations, new worlds. And we see solo energy in both of these cards, so requiring not a disconnect, but a bit of release and less tension within that tether. Yeah, so I like it. This is what's intended for the reading. So I hope you got answers from that as well. I think we covered all bases. Let's get into, I want to use some tarot to see what other aspects are being held with this situation. Perhaps answering the question that pile 1 has in mind here. We have the Wheel. I want to pull out. Yep. The Fool, the King of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups. Okay. I am going to pause there, take this one off the top. The Queen of Swords. All right. What lights you up? I feel like we're kind of moving down the line to more of that question, and some of you are wondering when the wheel is going to align to allow you to understand what your true purpose here is. Starseed. Starseed is, I maybe don't have this correct to all the details, but it's this idea of being a special type of person that was specifically placed on Earth to carry through a harmonious mission for the good of all, essentially, is kind of what that is. So we see a younger energy coming through in a starseed. Likewise, I want to mention, we mentioned things of like light workers, which kind of is what I'm seeing in this idea. A light worker being someone who uses the tools they are sent to Earth with to invoke more light in general in the energy surrounding them and in others, and we see that happening here. And the Wheel, I feel such an like independent energy coming through of you. Look at how much we see that with the turning away in the starseed, as well as the 8 of Cups, the Wheel, the Fool, all of these things. And the Queen of Swords, to me, she seems to always carry this archetype of like strong independence. So all of that kind of carrying on from what we've mentioned in reconsidering ways you could be being held back or tethered at this time. I want to mention the koala. Something is coming through with this crystal. I don't know why I want to mention that. It could be a descriptor for your person as well, like qualities that a koala carries. Maybe your person does. I don't know, but some of you, maybe that makes sense. Like teddy bear energy. Or just kind of like the slowness that is brought. Maybe you've taken things from this person. You struggle with this because you value the ways that they are able to be slow and steady and progress in that way and seem to be comfortable and content. And I think maybe some of you have been really, really trying to feel that way as well with the mirroring that's going on. But there's expansion that is being called for in you as well. And that's what I see in the Wheel, in the Fool. And the 8 of Cups, again, not saying that action is required to step fully away from a connection if you're resonating with this, but to say that there is something about taking steps back to allow growth in the space that exists between. And the Fool, I want you to be supported in your actions of taking leaps of faith and being supported in the way the wheel turns for you, and not having ideas put in your mind of why this is actually not a good idea based on someone else's perception of how they would enjoy it and how they would handle it. So this whole message is wanting you with the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords to come into your own with your decisions, with your perceptions, and know that if your question is about like, is this person right for me? I want to say that I do believe that's true. I do believe it's true, but I think that what isn't aligning for you maybe is something with the intellectual, is something with how you feel like things should be, if that is to be true. If this is to be right for you, things should feel this way. Or is that really truly how you feel, or is it carrying off of what you see other people do in relationships and things like that? The King of Pentacles, I think, forges his own way. The way that he takes is specific. And it's a message with the Fool as well, to fall into your own journey, to, as hard as it is, to make these decisions for yourself. The analytical aspect of the King of Pentacles with strategy. If you are sitting in this energy of abundance, being provided for financially, there's a lot of things that you had to do to get there, moving parts. Not to say that it's a difficult journey that not everyone can do, but that's just the truth. Like, and there's some things to work with the intellectual, with deconstructing what you think things should be like, and deciding for yourself to what degree can my situation look and feel different than my perception of what is supposed to be in other people's, and still be good for me. It's all about, like, to what degree, like, to what threshold will you accept this? To what degree will you be satisfied? Not wanting more, not looking for more. Yeah, it's tricky. We're gonna pull out more cards to help you strategize with this, or more guidance for you. So let's see. The Nine of Swords. I really do truly think you are back and forth with whether this is right, and you have been reconsidering a lot, perhaps, guys. Let's get your guidance. I do have these. The 10, because the Nine of Swords is exactly that. Anxieties around it, up late thinking is what is pictured. 10 of Cups. Your outcome is going to feel good with the 10 of Cups. You know it's going to be something that feels good with the Knight of Wands coming through and the 5 of Cups. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay. So with these, I pulled this card. I didn't immediately jump into it. I went back to this. I'm thinking, you want this, but you're thinking about it here. You want it. This is a vision. You don't feel like you have it with this person at this time. I think some of you want to run free with the Knight of Wands. I think some of you are really craving something that lights you up with the Starseed, and the Knight of Wands would quickly move toward that with passion. And of course is still learning, is still perhaps a bit reckless in it, but that is exciting. So I think this is what you want, and what you're thinking about, and what you're comparing your situation now to, whether it is fulfilling this or whether it can. Something about the wheel I want to mention now. Something about the wheel turning. You're wondering if the wheel, if you release something you have now, you're wondering if the wheel would turn to something more strongly in your favor, with a connection specifically. And the 5 of Cups feels like being again kind of like stuck in that. There's a few more messages still in the Knight of Wands and the 5 of Cups I'm trying to get clear on. The 3 cups that are empty fully in that 5 of Cups, I'm thinking of like majority in this case. Majority feels like dissatisfaction. The card is typically about encouraging you to, yeah, that's what it is. And I don't know that it's necessarily encouraging you to snap yourself out of it as if it is like irrational. I think the seeds have been planted of wondering what's next, what else is out there. The Knight of Wands feels like a vibrant vision of what could be. I think but there's a fear, of course, of like taking that risk and dropping the ball on what's next, or dropping the ball on what you currently had with this cup that's spilling out, and either taking a risk of it will pick up and take light within where it's being poured, or it's going to dissipate and go away. So it's like the risk that you understand. My own personal thing coming into this is that idea of like, if that thought is there, if it's nagging at you, it's there for a reason. There's something like that's my little personal thing that I feel like has been my own like saving grace in many, many situations, trying to understand my feelings and make decisions. So, but of course that is never all there is to it. So it's really tough. We definitely have room for more cards, and I'm hoping we can get kind of to the bottom of this somewhat for you guys. The Devil. It's really tempting to take that leap. And you're just, you really don't know if you're playing yourself by doing that. But why is that thought continuing to come up in this, of the dissatisfaction of the thought of leaning toward a decision, the wheel turning and leaning toward a decision of independence? But knowing that a vision is here for you for the future, like this is sitting here, this is in your cards. At some point, a vision you have, meaning that I do believe we can say that is going to come true. It's a vision that you're putting strong intention behind. It's yours. But is it now with this person? That is your question. That is what's coming up strongly as we're going through the reading. The Lovers. A choice. It's really about a choice. And in this case, a choice specifically to a situation involving a connection, represented by the Lovers on the card specifically. Yeah, weighing the scales, weighing the outcomes. We see the Libra, the scales depicted on there. Yeah, if you do feel very strongly about the mirroring with this person, look at this imagery we have come up twice. So I feel that is confirmation for you if you feel sure as well about them. And even if you are kind of getting clarity on this situation and leaning toward making things work with them or readdressing the situation, I do believe that this is confirmation. Not everything I say in a reading is for you. I always am mentioning alternative routes and alternative outcomes. So I just want to stress that your outcome very well could be this strong mirrored soulmate connection. If that is what you resonate, if that's what's desired, it is showing up in some of the cards. But again, the Lovers card does represent a choice. The Devil. And the Knight of Pentacles. Again, we have like some departure. Page of Cups. Page of Cups feels like a new beginning as well, in love specifically, and relationship. The Star feeling like a wish that is supported in this area, and Judgment feeling like, I want to say that I think a lot of you your call to judgment is going to be a thinned out tether to this person, or a stripped tether to this person. Whether brought upon by circumstances or through decision on your part, on their part together, there's something here of a call to judgment, you releasing, and I saw all of this kind of like independence and release and faith and trust in your cards. We have the Star, feeling like divine support in whatever wish you are moving toward with your connection, with the Ten of Cups being an outcome potentially. The Star is the support within that. The Page of Cups is like the excitement and newness and dreaming up the possibilities of this. Really is getting more clear on that vision. I think, look at this, look at the difference. This is the key, I believe, to your reading. Your thoughts and visions about the future when you're struggling with this person is represented by Nine of Swords. This is you in that vision. And you can see here you on a new journey, perhaps solo. Specifically, Page of Cups, you can see how different it feels when you're thinking of your vision. The Page of Cups alone, starseed, going after the vision, look at excitement. Yeah, this is tough to deal with. So I guess and both of these in regards to thinking about this beautiful outcome. So why is it that when you're with this person, perhaps you feel negative about this beautiful outcome? I think that is something to think about specifically for you guys to help get clear. I'm going to pull out one final tarot card and end with this final message. Final card for pile 1, the Five of Wands. This really could go either way. I do believe that some of you are willing to fight for this because that is what you are being called to, and so follow that. Oh, well, that just completely flipped into my lap. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. But anyways, he jumped into my lap. So I think if you're fighting at this time, a few more steps and things can kind of pan out and neutralize between the connection. Another message, it is worth fighting for. But the first message I couldn't ignore that came to me was that it's time to put up the fight and drop the fight. And it's too much to be fighting this hard for the outcome that you're getting, the lackluster outcome for some of you. You've got better things to fight for with the light, the starseed, the light worker, all of these things we mentioned. You have bigger plans. You have things you are meant to do here that are supported. The judgment call is like exactly that. You're called to this moment in your story. What you do, what you do is pretty clear. If this is your card, I do believe that you are separating in some way. But again, take everything with a grain of salt. Take your situation, apply that to it as well. And I really, truly hope that this gave you some tools and guidance to work through this as well. Please, if you feel unsure about things, please comment, and I would love to give you any clarification and kind of work with you on that as well. But your final card, the medallion. You can go for gold. Yeah, look at this. Putting up the fight. Likewise, you can go for gold with the connection and fight and reach something good. Likewise, you can go off on your own and fight a new battle and get your medallion. But yeah, this feels like an individual achievement overall with the medallion. So moving you toward a message of moving into more soloness, more opportunity to do your own thing and not be held down by that at all. So I really hope you enjoyed your messages today. Please subscribe, like, comment. All of those things are so helpful to me. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hey there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. This is your answer to a question. So we are starting with some additional oracle. I'm pulling out one archetype card that I will reveal at the very end to kind of tie in your energies, but these cards we will go ahead and reveal. But this archetype card. Here it is. It fell on the ground like they usually do with me. So we will put that to the side. Cards for pile 2. I have some ideas for your reading based on the 2 cards you pulled, but let's pull one more from this as well. So you have play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Feels very free-spirited. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Again, like free spirit. That's exactly what allows a free spirit to do. What makes them be perceived that way is the lack of judgment from themselves on not supporting themselves and showing up in a free-spirited, carefree energy, which is what we see. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? You would be a free spirit if you supported yourself in that way. Maybe you do really, really support yourself enough to be so authentic that this card is showing, as well as the play card with have fun, celebrate, don't be serious. Wow. Some of you are already showing up this way. Some of you are hoping to feel this way more strongly, to come into alignment with these types of energies as well. There's one card here that I want to grab. Mirror, with who or what is triggering you. Guys, the message, I promise I don't say this for every reading, just kind of sending you to another reading, but pile 1, I want to say right off the bat, just because this card says mirror and talking about who is triggering you or what, and pile 1 was about mirrored companionship with a person and perhaps an energy of being held back by someone discouraging you to be in the free-spirited, playful, bold, independent energy. So if you feel any type of energy such as that, having a person in your life currently who is triggering you, and check out pile 1 because you can get some answers if they don't come through by the time this reading is through with this one. So I'm sure they will though. Yes, what other messages? That feels like what it is. And meditation brings answers. I'm thinking of something like meditation would almost be opposite of what you're being called to do, but perhaps your form of meditation is in being playful, is in being free-spirited and answering that call to your path. And doing those things, it's like when they say if you enjoy running, that is a form of like meditation, of almost like therapy for some people is kind of how they describe it. I don't know personally, but so it's like if you're doing those things, that is your way of meditating, and that is when you will get answers because you feel supported. And this is saying, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So your answer is in feeling supported because that answer allows you to move forward with what you want to do, with your path. And meditation for some of you could be getting clear on how a person or situation is affecting you at this time with the mirror card, and getting answers that way of what you're truly feeling called toward in terms of a specific connection to a person, place, organization, workplace, anything like that. Pulling out some tarot, the 10 of Cups, which was in pile 1 as well, as a vision for the future, as what you would love, and perhaps what they were not getting at the time. Your meditation, we have children pictured in the 10 of Cups, and we had the play card. Maybe doing what you love is bringing you answers as well to how that can translate to your future, to growing a future vision. I can do this in the future with my significant other and our children. If we have them. Like, it's something like that, and that is giving you clear answers as well, because what you're realizing that you love and would love for your future, you're also able to quickly rule out as being a good fit with what you currently have going on or who you are currently with. It allows you to feel more clear and know that that doesn't feel like it's headed down this path that I'm envisioning. But we need to get more clear on this. Can we answer pile 1's or pile 2's questions here? The 2 of Swords, I think you're faced with a choice at this time and unsure what the option could be. Again, really, really highly recommend pile 1, definitely. Knight of Cups. And 2 of Pentacles, as well as the 10 of Wands. So we see you dabbling in new energies, trying things out, and I see moving along in the 10 of Wands. Unsure what to do, unsure how to achieve the vision that you are coming up with through your meditations. And I'll also mention meditation simply can be what you envision meditation to be also. You could be getting into that in a strong way as well at this time. 2 of Swords. But why is there a lack of seeing an answer in this time if we know that there are forms of meditation available to receive answers? Knight of Cups. It almost feels like, again, there's someone blocking you from this, triggering you, and when you're triggered, it's kind of hard to be at peace, tranquil, meditating, happy. So that could be a blockage in the Knight of Cups. Someone who is not fitting your vision at this time. In the 2 of Pentacles, I almost see like going out and getting answers for yourself about, I don't know if you're going out and dating or meeting new people and seeing how that feels, how that works. You're kind of like, I think at this time or in the future, the energy we're speaking of in the 2 of Pentacles, it feels like you're trying new things. She's kind of taking the same pose as the Free Spirit here, and after that period of like experimenting, I want to say, I think you're a lot more clear on, okay, well, I know that what I came from was too slow and also not on the right path for me. I know that what I just experienced was fun and it was a thing, but probably not sustainable perhaps, or not the way to find your person. And so then next we arrive to the 10 of Wands, which feels like that decision of, all right, now it's time to really pack up and do this in like a sensible way, kind of like that was not really your intention to like find a soul partner through this little phase of having fun, experimenting. So it's kind of like then back to reality. You knew that this time was coming of getting back on a serious path, but you do value like play and fun. So this moment, any moments like this, I do believe are valuable for you to almost not get out of your system, but like if it's something you enjoy and you're called to, so it is valuable for you to prioritize that as well. Okay. The 8 of Pentacles, who I saw when I was shuffling for your reading. Yeah, there could be a lot in store for you if you do take this path. Or even like meditating with intention toward your work at this time could be very, very beneficial to bring you answers, to bring you unique ideas and perspectives. Maybe you kind of had this idea in mind of like you've always been playful, so you kind of have this idea of separating like work and play. And so I think like meditation, maybe you've kind of, if you're doing this in like the traditional way that you would envision someone meditating, some of you I think have this idea that like that is off limits for bringing like work situation into that, or but I think it could be a very strong tool to meditate on, because the idea is like you're trying to get away from that and like trying to isolate. You can do that in other forms of meditation and at other times, but I think that there is value here in using your work, your ideas, your inspirations at this time as a topic to your meditations and see what comes through for like creative ideas. Yeah, so don't think that that is like an off limits area for you to bring that element into. It isn't going to like taint the energy or anything like that. So if that's been a blockage, this is your confirmation that it's okay and it's helpful, in fact. What else do we have going on here? We have the Ace of Cups, feels like a new beginning, and the Six of Cups. It does feel like a new beginning with lingering kind of memories of the recent past and what you've been through. I don't know if you're even currently in a relationship, but that has been strong in this reading. But I'm trying to think of what other areas you could be kind of moving from. It doesn't have to be a relationship with the person, like a romantic connection, but it's this whole idea of someone or something triggering you at this time and not being in alignment with you. So the Six of Cups is kind of coming out of that recent energy and still like feeling it with the mirror, still kind of picking it up in your everyday, the things you do. It's still kind of lingering within that, but it's distanced at that, and we'll see what else comes through with this tarot. The Death and Rebirth. Soon, I think it's going to be like a new slate. And I think you will not, if you do feel like overwhelmed by like nostalgia and thinking on the past and like pointing out the details of what you did, how things went wrong, things like that, I think it's almost like a clean slate that you are being gifted with. Which I want to say, it almost feels like, I'm not saying that what I'm feeling in the reading feels scary, but like when it came out, like if it was for me, I was kind of like, ooh, that's a little like, like that's coming. But it's, I don't know, maybe I'm like overplaying that, but Death and Rebirth, it's like you being able to really not need to pick up on the things that kind of are hurtful when you remember them from your past. And the reason I said like, ooh, that's a little like scary is like, feels like a memory wipe almost. But I don't know, I've been looking at this card to kind of clarify. But it's getting rid of things that were challenging and not helpful to you, all the lingering, the empty cups, it's clearing that out. And that is, you're not going to miss the memory of when you threw up on stage, like performing in 5th grade, like whatever it is, like you're not going to miss that. You don't need to hold on to that. It's time to let go of some stuff that is like way played out. Page of Cups. There's new dreams to come in. The Hermit. Meditation, coming in alignment right with this meditation card. So that is a strong message. I think you are going to learn a lot in this time being free-spirited in meditation as well, and getting clear on your vision and whether or not what's going on for you now is supportive of your desire to be free-spirited and to move along, and whether the things that you feel like have been part of your story for so long, some of those things are played out. How you were, again, a decade ago, all of these things, it's so different than who you are now. The Ace of Swords, constantly expanding, like the mind is the biggest part of that. Maybe it's like you haven't trusted yourself for a while because you haven't trusted your ability to make the right decision. And this is coming through to say that you have grown a lot in this area, and I do believe that you can trust yourself in this time it isn't about making a decision, it's about following where you are called. There is no need to make an official decision. All that is required is to show up every day, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, doing the things that you are feeling called to, or the fact that you're feeling called to do absolutely nothing. Day by day following that is what is making a decision. There is no moment of signing a document and finalizing this. It is daily choice in your actions. So it's easy, it's manageable in that way. It's encouraging to know that. And I see that you are prepared with your mind being expanded and cohesive to work through this with you, rather than different areas of your brain like fighting you, telling you different things, struggling with that at one point. There is clarity in the mind as well. Final 2 tarot cards for your messages, the King of Wands and the Two of Wands. This is very beautiful for your final tarot. We do have our final card, so stick around for that as well. But I see you coming into the boldness, the free-spiritedness we had talked about in the King of Wands. We had the Knight of Wands show up in pile 1, and I saw the horse in the background. We see the lion here. It just feels, again, like that free spirit that is being visually represented alongside you at this time. And powerful, the King of Wands is. The Two of Wands, it's on the horizon for you, I think. I talked about, the Two of Wands feels like having a bit of an idea, like a starting point, but still needing to figure some things out, for sure. And I said something about, career, about work, about bringing that into your meditation to get inspiration. I think that's what this Two of Wands is also guiding you to, is even if you go on a walk and you spend that time letting your mind roam free of what the possibilities could be for what you're working on, your creative side, bringing that into it, that meditation is going to bring a lot of ideas for movement. And again, step by step, if you're following that, you're doing it right. Step by step, follow your intuition, follow what you're feeling day by day, and allow your mind to run free, untethered about the possibilities for what you could do next. That is how you get your answers, and your answers come in the forms of immediate next steps. That is your first thing to learn, is following your intuition, flowing through your day in that way. That is your first true test of guidance to follow. So let's pull out your final card. We have the Mountain. The Mountain, I feel like I've compared this one to the Hermit before. You're being prepared. That's what this is. You are being prepared. And you can't see how close you are to the top at this time through the preparation you have done. But the Ten of Wands is just departing that way. And it's either not a long journey to the top, if that's what you feel like is resonating to you, or either it is not a long journey down that mountain to get grounded. If you feel like a person or situation that's been triggering you has put you very tense, put you in a high place, above where you're normally grounded and calm, this is you being able to travel back down to earth and groundedness, and now you're on a flat, level plane going toward what you would love to do with the open mind, with this perspective and the free spirit, not being triggered anymore. Yeah, that is more so strongly a message, is being able to safely depart from the mountain and to a new path. Something about your path not always looking like what you would think that outcome would be. You would think, this person is so close to the top, they're heading toward the top. Sometimes your journey is going to look like different directions, when in reality it's all bringing you in the forward progressive movement. So pile 2, I hope you enjoyed these messages. Please subscribe, like, comment, all of those things. It really helps my channel. If you did want any clarity on your reading, feel free to comment. I love to connect with you guys in that way. Very open to it. So with all that being said, have an amazing day, Pile 2, and I will see you in your next reading. Hey there, Pile 3. We are shuffling out your cards, oracle cards, for your question that you have in mind. So these we will reveal at the end, and they will kind of tie into our overall messages, but let's pull out from this deck as well. I think we're gonna do 2. I've done about 2 for each pile. One more message for Pile 3, please. Feel that one. Mintaken with longing for home, belonging, the original lightworkers. As well as align your life with what is not aligned or needs to change. Yeah, there's something about surrendering in like a spiritual aspect. I feel like we can see that alone from the 2 cards that you were drawn to the pile by. And we have this aspect of Mintaken, which is, I hope I'm saying that right, but the original light workers. And I was mentioning actually in pile number 1, I was talking about light workers. So if you felt called to that, that could be relevant to you as well. But that is this aspect of like being sent to where you are specifically with this kind of like mission agreement in mind, which is carrying a specific light frequency as such to spread that to your surroundings and do work in that way. It's a life purpose. It's a coming back to home. It's a sense of belonging, and it's surrendering to that and you being ready to kind of face that element, I believe, for some of you. And aligning your life better to that is the call to action. This deck specifically has action calls. So your thing to kind of think about and calling you to action is about what is not aligned and needs to change. And you're ready to surrender what needs to change and what is not aligned, and surrender the idea of where you are heading and what you are meant to be here for. There's something about like, I'm gonna have to pull some tarot. I think there's something here that hopefully I'm going to be able to elaborate on, but I'm gonna continue and kind of hold on that. I do see this card on the bottom, which I'm just gonna pull out and kind of put up here because I saw it, but it's the Death and Rebirth card. Speaking of a transformation, a surrender, and into a new reality, perhaps. The Star. I am gonna pull out this chunk as well as this, and one more, and we're gonna roll with those. So let's work through these. We have the Lovers, the Hermit, the Strength card, Knight of Pentacles, and 10 of Pentacles, and one more. The 6 of Swords. All right. I feel there is a path to take represented by the Star, the Lovers, being realized within the Hermit's energy. And then the strength required to translate to your everyday, what you've learned in the Knight of Pentacles, to translate into things that are going to work for you. It's kind of like with the idea of being like a light worker, it's like your means of your like 3D reality and expectations and responsibilities. It feels like some element of like that being supported, because it's like the accommodations you get almost for like being sent as like a light worker. Or if you're not like strongly resonating with that, it's just like the aspects you have that feel more like, okay, people tell me I'm empathetic, people tell me I'm receptive and open, people tell me I'm spiritual, but how does this help me in my everyday? It's like an inevitable support that you get with that is like your accommodation for being like a worker, to say in that way, of representing these beautiful positive energies. That's specific. It's not to say that like go quit your job, go rely on the universe just to bring you your support and your physical demands and things like that, but it is just some kind of like idea of like support, because I'm seeing like the spiritual inner translating to like reality, translating to you gaining financial knowledge, gaining knowledge in a field to where you are the knight and you're taking information and making it work for you at this point. And outcome is very beautiful with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is a strong outcome for your current, for your near future, as well as for generations down the line to be supported by this outcome that you initially receive in your lifetime. That's like the feeling of that at its maximum kind of like capacity showing up for you. Major wealth and abundance is possible. But we follow that with the Six of Swords, and I'm wondering if that's not even what you like really are wanting here. Let's see. Oh, we do have these additional cards. The Two of Cups. Surrender also felt like not just surrendering to like a spiritual aspect, but to like, it could be to a connection, it could be to like your current relationships and other aspects, surrendering to what is at play in your life in this time. The Eight of Wands. I had someone read this for me as like a person specifically coming in quick, which it's always held that like fast delivery energy, but I've never necessarily always associated it with a person. But in that case, that is coming to my mind, and we have that next to the Two of Cups. Surrendering to a strong, if there's a connection that you're asked to surrender to, it's destined for strong death and rebirth and transformation. And your message, you're ready, is telling you you are ready for that momentum, for that movement to pick up, for intense love, I want to say. Someone coming in hot. Look at this trine we have going on. Eight of Wands, Two of Cups, and the Lovers. Adjacent to support on either side is really what I'm seeing. Yeah. Final card for now, we have the Two of Swords. This is something very well that you don't expect. You don't feel like there are any prospects on the horizon in terms of love and someone attractive coming in. So at this time, it's either simply unexpected or it's not quite prepared and in alignment yet, because we do see you. Yeah, I feel like you could be ready, but you could sit for a while longer and have the outcome be even sweeter in result. Maybe the Six of Swords. I said something about like, do you want that? Maybe you're not really wanting to get on a path involving family life at this time, which we see as an outcome in the Ten of Pentacles. And I said something about maybe that's not what you want with the Six of Swords. So maybe for some of you that is true. Or it's not what you think you want, but there is some aspect of it that will be different than what you perceive it to be. And perhaps your hesitation toward it is like fear-based, is doubt-based, and your message with strength and with "you're ready" is what you need to hear in this situation, that whatever comes to you is on your path for a reason. And as soon as something phases out, is no longer aligned, no longer feels right, needs to change, the call to align your life comes in. And again, the cycle continues, clearing out the old stagnant energies and rebirth transformation. It's a beautiful promise to kind of rely on in this lifetime, knowing that something is always going to end if that is attractive to you, and new things can always start. But pull out a few additional tarot cards. Are there any other aspects to this for pile 3? What do they need to know about a question they're having in mind? The Magician. You can create your outcome as well. The Two of Swords is not seeing an outcome. The Magician can create it out of thin air, and the Three of Wands feels that way as well. And from the Magician manifesting into the very near stages of it being ready for you. What else do we have here as a call to action for pile 3? Let's get clear on these messages. They've been moving pretty quickly. So far, we have the Fool card and the Sun. Beautiful support coming through in release, in trust fall. Wherever you were going, Six of Swords, it felt like maybe that's not where you were meant to go or where is right to go, but the Fool is representing that as well. And the Fool brings a beautiful energy of surrendering to something new, and rather than a journey to avoid or to fear, or it is something very important and exciting and super supported to bring you the life, the joy, and the Sun card. This is your message of optimism as well for whatever is next. You're ready. You are ready to receive happiness. Really, I think that is a big part of the message as well. Ace of Swords. It's the same idea of like your mind being open, you're ready, your heart is open as well on the Sun card, and you're looking the right direction. You're doing all the things, like all of this to say that you're ready, and all of it to say with the Eight of Wands, something is ready to come in. And it's going to allow you an opportunity to, at the same time, get rid of things that don't work and replace them with new magical things that do work. And we see that that progress is quite strong. And it is allowing you a lot of new opportunity that I'm not sure that we're going to dive too much into with this reading. But let's see. The Two of Pentacles. The Ten of Cups. Wow, guys. I think all the piles have had Ten of Cups today. Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. Look at the protection in the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. You're ready, you're protected as well. You can surrender because of the protection. This is like, so you manifest something good, it's going well, it's picking up progress, and then kicks in like the intensity, the working too hard, too much, all of that, and the fear, the constantly checking the progress, the fear that it will disappear overnight. And the Seven of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, moving from that fear and holding on too tightly to the Seven of Wands, is able to really shine and revel in what she's created because she is protected at all times by a field created by herself as well as those surrounding her to support her through the lifetime, through her lifetime, their lifetime. Yeah. So it's very nice as well in this journey because surrender is really eyes closed and all, like, look at all these images. We have eyes closed, 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 closed. It's just, you can allow, you can afford to close your eyes and let things unfold the way they should. As long as you're feeling good and peaceful, then you know you are on the right path. And at this time, you could also, through surrender, is like your whole perspective of what you would love for your future kind of changes. That's what I'm picking up with the 10 of Cups. Whatever, I want to say, like, whatever you think now, there's no point in expecting that, almost. As in terms of, like, final outcomes. When all is said and done, I'm settled down, I'm married, I have 3 to 5 kids, I have this, like, I would say ditch that, because I think whatever is shifting here, it's just simply going to be completely different in the way it shows up, but all the same in the way that it makes you happy and satisfied, and in the way that it is meant for specifically for you. So, yeah. What is, like, the final guidance here? Like, what? Okay, let's just ask that, because I'm not sure that I'm really holding, like, a specific question in mind. It's something more, like, internal, like, more, like, existential, kind of, I want to say, that you're thinking, and yeah. The Queen of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups. So much energy of moving away. Again, something is changing for you, and with the Queen of Wands is becoming more written in your story at this time as you surrender and as you're ready for it to enter. And with that acknowledgement, that new fire, that new light to pay attention to and to guide you to your end story, along your story, is leading to that, the 10 of Swords, which is the end of a path, is needing to embark on an entirely new story. And likewise, with that being almost like a necessity at this time, it's also a choice, which I think is a unique kind of perspective to take with it, because it represents alignment, which was a message at that, of needing to remove things that aren't aligned. But this idea of alignment is coming through for you. That is, like, impressive, because it tells me that there's one way you could be pushed down a new path, and that would be your circumstances interfering and delays and all that kind of thing. But there's also you knowing it for yourself as well. Like, you have had this idea. I think you know you're ready. I think you've had this idea that you're ready. And the fact that you also are picking up on the changes and the need to change is, like, the collaboration between the energies coming through to try to get you on a more aligned path is, like, perfect. It's something that you can be proud of for how you are able to recognize what's right for you and make those steps. And your steps, it's like you can just float along, because again, they are supported by the things that are also aligning in your physical surroundings to put you into a new path. Yeah, so that is great confirmation for you guys. I think the reading has been awesome. We have 2 cards we're gonna pull. We have the Comic and we have Agape, which I was thinking about when I went to do this reading. Agape is, like, unconditional love, like, always existing. The Comic, I'm wondering how that is playing in. I think for some of you, it's a message of unconditional. That feels strong to say unconditional, but unconditional love in spaces where you are representing yourself, and creative sides, performing. I see support in that sense. And surrendering to an outcome of not being supported or being ignored or just whatever is not a factor in your decisions to do the things that you enjoy with the comic. Like, I am thinking of a stand-up comedian, I'm thinking of someone performing, I'm thinking of that being received and being like to the mercy, surrendering to the perception of who you're presenting to. So I think that's a specific message for some of you to go ahead and you're ready to present, to perform, to whatever it is that you're resonating with. And it will be, I can't say it will go well. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the standards are, but like, I see something about at least being able to surrender to like accepting support if that is what should happen. I don't know, that's interesting. I hope you got what you needed out of that, but those are your messages, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, comment if you did. I'm happy to clarify things for you and collaborate in the comments if you need it. But I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hey pile 4, welcome to your reading, answering your question. So we are setting aside some oracle cards to start out your reading, as well as this one we will reveal at the very end to kind of see how that ties things together as well. But yeah, we've gotten some great messages, like really awesome messages for piles 1, 2, and 3 today. So I'm quite excited to get into your messages as well, and already have some strong ideas for what this reading is bringing to the table. We have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? We have Sisterhood of the Rose with beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. Sisterhood of the Rose is about this, like, exactly that, a sisterhood, like an ancient sisterhood that you are a part of, you can join, things like that. And we have not dimming your light to fit in. Is there a space that you could resonate with and fit in more strongly because you don't have to dim that light to be in that space? That's a message initially, but I want to speak on the improving health and strength. Those feel like they speak for themselves in terms of how they relate to one another. You could be in a situation that you've had to be mentally strong to get through your mental health, or your physical health, needing to be physically strong as well as mentally strong to kind of navigate and deal with that. For some of you, that has been a thing happening as of recent. For some of you, there is improvement that card is speaking of, but everything with a grain of salt in terms of health and things like that. I don't feel comfortable predicting for outcomes in that sense, but yeah, there is something improving. Speaking on like mental health feels relevant, and becoming just mentally, maybe not something was wrong that you perceived in the first place that's improving, but rather your baseline is kind of increasing and you're noticing that change kind of picking up because the light is brighter, and that's perceived differently than the space you were before where it was more dim. So you feel it, you see it, and I think others are picking up as well with the sisterhood I mentioned of like people in a sisterhood, in a group, and they would be able to recognize one of their own, someone who's strong, someone who is here to be in the same roles, serving the same purpose as they are as well. Yeah, so improving strength in general, like psychic strength as well, intuitive abilities, and that as well, since we do have the Sisterhood of the Rose consisting of priestesses, mystics, and teachers. Yeah, so Eight of Pentacles. Wow. You are amongst those ranks, I do believe. And the Nine of Pentacles. I think it is a wish for you to release some illness as well and to gain strength over it, whatever you resonate with that being. It could be anything. Really, truly, I'm going to pull this card. Surrender off the top from... Yeah. I'm going to pause on that. I pulled it for a reason, but I'm going to hold that where it is. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull this card off the top. We have the Empress. There's a whole new world, I feel, waiting as well. The Eight of Pentacles feels like you belonging in this group that you're being called to. Or belonging in this space of improved health. Like being fit for the task is kind of what I'm picking up on with the Empress. Being supported in your current health circumstances to become pregnant is kind of what I'm relating that to. And so it's like you are an appropriate vessel to like to train as a mystic, as a teacher, as an intuitive, as a light worker, as all of these things. Light worker came through in messages 1 and 3. And this speaks of dimming your light to fit in. You were not meant to do that. You were meant to be bright. And surrendering to that is my message now. This came from pile 3, which had me pause because it came directly from pile 3, and I realized that as soon as I pulled it. But the message with that there was surrendering to your potential, to the fact that they are ready, to the fact that you are ready to step up. Again, to increase this threshold to make these improvements and changes in your current situation. You are fit for the job as well. And it will be in alignment. Not only are you fit for it, you will feel good in that space as well with the Nine of Pentacles. Surrendering is what's going to allow you that wish of the Nine of Pentacles, that goodness, that fulfillment. Yeah. Okay, let's continue pulling out these tarot. I'm pulling right off the top. We have the 10 of Swords as well as the 6 of Swords. I feel like you are leaving a space at this time. Again, I mentioned at the very beginning that you could perhaps be in a space that has been holding you down or is not in alignment, and here we have the end of that situation represented by the 10 of Swords, and we have the peaceful departure represented by the 6 of Swords following. 6 of Swords, I want to say, also feels like a message of surrender. Surrendering to your new path. You are meant to become a master there. You are meant to be amongst the ranks of the beautiful people that you share that with, of the aspect of being a person in general. I'm getting lost in that explanation here, but yeah, it's just beauty in itself. Beauty and devotion is the aspects that the Sisterhood of the Rose is representing and carrying as well. Let's see, what else is it about you? I feel like this is really cool. We have the Ace of Wands and we have the Hierophant. I feel like this is your path. Like the Hierophant to me has also felt like a call to surrender. The person pictured in this card looks at a state of bliss, at a state of surrender, and able to travel upward even from there. Improving health, it's always increasing, improving strength, increasing to allow you to reach greater and greater heights. And it's almost like I was gonna say something about like, but what is the end? Where is that ending? And I think the end, this path, you see the light at the end of the stairs. Where you take with each climb, where you find yourself after each tough climb and journey, is back in your mind space. Everything funnels into that mind space. Where these journeys end and begin is all within you. Your destination is always feeding into you because everything is within your mind, within your perception. And so your destination is always coming back home to you and feeding into yourself. So if you feel like it's a never-ending process, never-ending journey, yes, I believe that's true, but it's funneling to a place much closer to home than you think. Like the end is always within you. It's not you finding yourself somewhere else. Your ending is within you. It is the changes in you, the improvements within you, and I see that in the Ace of Wands and the staircase leading you to the light that exists within her mind. So yeah, I hope I explained that well, but the Magician. Yeah. It's all like perception, really. It's a lot here about perception of what is here for you. The Magician is that act of creation over and over. Some of you are improving your, did I say something about improving psychic abilities? Yeah, something like that. Some of you are we have the Eight of Pentacles, getting skilled in that, getting strong in your intuition. That's incredible. The Magician is showing me that. Your third eye opening, I see within the improving health card, and generally within the Ace of Wands as well. So some of you are psychics, and really this call to the sisterhood is legit. Pack your bags. I don't know, but let's see. This card wants to come off. The Four of Pentacles, and I feel one here, the Ten of Wands. There's a lot here about movement and progress. There's a lot about your destination not being as far as a climb as you think. You can see here that I said I could explain this in a similar way for pile 3 because a lot of these energies are kind of tying together. But it's like you would think the destination would be up that mountain, but down the mountain is just an appropriate path for you. To come back to this space, to lead you back to the learning, and programming that into your brain and space as you move along. It's not always the climb. Sometimes it does look like coming grounded down to reality with the Four of Pentacles. So your journey is not going to be linear. It's not going to be always the same fight at the same rate, at the same intensity, feeling the same way. It's always, and as you are called to be a mystic and intuitive, it is a call here, a recognition that the paths can be different as you create and move along your journey. And I think you will really become skilled in recognition of what is for you, and also your mind space is going to open, the third eye opening, just to let you know you'll have a greater vision of alternative ways to go about things that maybe are easier for you in some way, or just better overall for your situation. You'll be able to get creative and make things work for you, like things like this coming into play. The Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is like a kind of like, I think of it as like a retreat, an escape, almost. Yeah, with the Eight of Cups, I just bent over backwards to pull that off the ground from a whole pile of cards that fell, and she's the one. We have the Eight of Cups, we have some kind of escape supported as well by the Seven of Swords. And I think this is coming in to really kind of dig into the message we just got into of your path not always looking like what you think. There are situations where things are perceived as being sacrificed or left behind to move along, or you feel like the ball was dropped on something you had rolling for you, and why should that have gone away? It's like that kind of thing, recognition of the way that things unsupported for you, or maybe they have been but at this time they are no longer. It is how it is supposed to be in some situations, for it to feel like something was left unfinished, or to feel like something good was left behind. That is another lesson I believe you will be learning on this journey as well. I wonder what your overall question was as you were drawn to the pile. The Lovers, a choice. I wonder if you're torn between kind of going different pathways with your life. We do have like the sisterhood being like an enticing call for like a life's path, versus, who knows, maybe you have another kind of major thing calling you that you feel like only one thing can kind of take up your time. So it feels like a choice, and perhaps that is some element of the question that you brought to the table here. Let's see. 3 of Swords. But there's one thing that just is not going to be feeling right, I think, with the 3 of Swords, or is currently not feeling right, and time to move on. And recognition of what it means for it to feel painful for you to move on for something. Recognition of what does that mean? How do I interpret that? If I'm feeling sad and pained to leave this situation or this person, yet I know that I need to. Yet I know that the departure with the 6 of Wands is peaceful and happening, required, necessary with the 10 of Wands. Why is it still painful? Like, that is part of the choices you're having to make as well. And surrendering to the idea that there is time required in situations to be in that transitory state in the 6 of Swords, to be still lingering with some pain, perhaps some adjustment required to get used to the new things happening. So that is almost just like another kind of thing coming into play that you should be aware of, because it should never be the one thing to rule out a decision you're making, the fact that your heart is breaking through doing it. Neither should it be, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Using your own judgment in your spiritual journey is something to pay attention to at this time. So let's get out some like advice for pile 4. What else can they know about this path ahead? The Devil. The Knight of Wands and the 2 of Wands. Okay. So I had a message of like something about it feels like reckless to be making a choice that you're leaning toward, or that you will be. Something around it feels like reckless, with the 7 of Swords being like sometimes like deceitful or betraying, things like that. Like, I don't know if this is causing you to leave something behind, like we mentioned, as an energy that you have to kind of deal with in the departure in transition states in general, to come into alignment with what you should have at that next time. So Knight of Wands, though, feels like the turnaround of, I wanted to say earlier, like once you get through that like heartache, that little pain, there always is that time where that fizzles out, and you will come to the time 2 of Wands where you're looking to the future, and there is opportunities being formed and soon on their way to become readily available to take off with. So that is another thing to consider, is kind of like holding on until working through with the Strength card, being strong through that time. Even when it's really, really hard to work through the transitions of letting things go and moving on, there is strength that you can call upon in you as well, and you are going to come to the turnaround always. The Eight of Cups is someone who leaves something that's okay or bad and they're moving on to something better. And the Knight of Wands is you picking up the pace with that, and rather than doing it just to do it day by day, you're like the pep in your step will start to pick up, and it starts to feel intentionally like inspired and creative in that sense, rather than routine or what is meant to be happening day by day. With a lot of practice as well, you get so inspired to continue to grow and learn in this area. Two of Wands is going to be having something getting ready to take off with pretty soon. They're exploring options in the most broad general sense at this time, but nonetheless getting some creative flow going to move you forward. Answering the call is what you're doing through this entire reading. You are answering a call. Let's go ahead and pull out your final card. The Vision. Wow. You here are meant to be a visionary, an intuitive, a psychic, whatever you're resonating with, or beyond what I've mentioned. Like something unique to you as well, something that is representing a unique vision that you're able to transform into something that can be like perceived and digestible to people. Bringing a vision to light, or otherwise honing in on actual psychic visions at this time for some of you, and getting into the world of working with that, working with your team, working with those who share that experience. And I don't know, if you want to connect with people here in the comments, maybe that's a good place. I'm sure you'll find some people who you can resonate with, answer your questions. I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely here if you need any support in this time. As always, those are your messages. I hope you enjoyed them. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all of those things that help me so much on my channel. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading.